Hi guys, Dragoneither here today doing, oh god, some of you are going to hate me for this video. I haven't even finished the deck off. I don't have all the cards yet. I've ordered most of them, but I still got to wait. Doing a Red-Eyes deck profile. I'm going to open this up for you quickly because I like opening these on camera. I didn't win this at the sneak peek. I won this, sorry, I usually like to have a bit of a table underneath, not carpet. I won this at the release event because my store had a spare one. So it's not from a sneak peek, but it's very, very nice. And I still count it as one of my trophies. Now, bear with me. I have a lot of proxies in here. If you're watching the video online... Oh, by the way, I'll probably link my actual deck profile here. Or something. So, that's something I'm going to try new to my videos, just put a link to an image of the cards that are in the deck, especially for this, seeing as there's so many proxies. I'm still editing this a bit up. As a bit of background, I have made dragon decks before. I'm actually quite fond of dragon decks. Nothing to do with the name Dragoneither. I just like how they run, even though they're inconsistent. I like the big beat sticks, pretty fun. The last time I made one was a high-rise deck. High-rise blue, not high-rise red. If I made this high-rise deck, it'd be high-rise red. High-rise blue, and that was really fun. That got some pretty neat combos off. But this is just a red-eyes deck. It is the fusion variant, and synchro as well, surprisingly enough. Managed to fit a synchro engine in one card. So, without further ado, let's get into this. As proxy, I have two Red-Eyes B Dragon. That is proxy. I'm going to have to do a rant after this and how bad some of the cards are. Don't play the Red-Eyes Archfiend, it's shit. Proxy, two Malefic Red-Eyes. Malefic. And three normal Red-Eyes Black Flare Dragons. And two Summoned Skulls as the base. That gives us access to 7 Red-Eyes level 7s for cards of Redstone, and it gives us access to the fusion. It's also good because some of the other cards work a little bit better like this. Also, the Malefic Red-Eyes gives you access to bringing it out turn 1 if you have Dragon's Ravine, which I'm running at 2 in this. It's pretty standard. The reason why this guy's actually shit, you can't send this from the deck to the grave with the Red-Eyes Fusion. It's also not a level 7 Red-Eyes. Oh my god, there is so much shit I want to go into about this deck. I will make a separate rant video about all the things they've screwed up with this deck. But for now, Malefic, normal Red-Eyes, and the 3 Black Flare. Now for the other cards, and holy shit, I have so much to rant on. 1 Red-Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Let's get him a little bit closer. 1 Dark Arm Dragon, 2 Gores, obviously, one's proxied again. 1 Galaxy Serpent, that's the synchro engine because it lets me get into azure-eyes very easily and it actually works pretty nicely. Obviously it's not power play, but in decks that like to destroy, it's pretty alright. 1 Keeper of the Shrine, that is a 1 card wonder. Okay, I'm going to put it to you this way, guys. If you have a monster which activates its effect in grave, almost whenever, but only once per turn, and it's limited to doing so, there is no point in running 2. You can't activate or use both. There's literally no point. And in saying that, here's the next 1 card wonder. This is where a lot of people will stop the video, but if you're smart, you'll listen up and find out why. 1 Blackstone of Legend. I could make a whole entire video of how much they fucked over the deck by making that not a dragon tuner. In a rant video, which I will do, and if I do it, I'll post it there on top of this card because that'll probably be a center point. I'll explain to you so many mechanics of what makes this bad. And why I don't know why people run 3 of this card. I do not understand what people would think is good about this. I understand that it would be a fanboy card, But other than that, no offense to fanboys, it's not that great. If you get Effect Veiled or something, or Chaliced, obviously you don't need the Phoenix Chain. You know, if you get one of them, hit on Blackstone, you're sitting with a 0 attack monster. If you add this card back from your hand from the grave, you can't tribute it, normal summon and tribute it, especially summon that. You've already used one of your effects that turn. Honestly, this card has more use at 1 than you would think. And if you guys don't see the use of it, well, I'm going to go explain it to you later on in the video. And again, if I have time, I will link that now at the point in time in which I'm going to explain Blackstone Legend to you and how it works in this deck. Next up, the dump cards. 2 Dragon Shrine, 2 Dragon Ravine, 1 Terraforming, and to put back in the grave, 1 Barrel from Different Dimension. These 2 are actually going to probably come out, or that and this, for another card which I've been playing a fair bit of. Oh shit, sorry. I've been playing a fair bit of another card, and it's actually in my extra deck, the card that I use with it. The Claw of Hermos is actually really good in this deck, especially if you're running 3 Return of the Red-Eyes, even though it can backfire really badly. Yeah, it's actually pretty decent. Should look into playing that, guys. I didn't think the card would be getting good, but when I started playing, I'm like, actually, it's not so bad, especially on Archfiend. So that's the dump and return cards for now, and I'll explain Burial a little bit later. It works with a few other cards. Next up is the draw support. 3 cards of the Redstone, 3 Sacred Sword of 7 stars, and 1 Allure. Now, remember, for Sacred Sword, there are 10 targets in the deck. There's 2 Gores, Dark Arm Dragon, and the 7 Red Eyes. And for cards of Redstone, there's a 7 Red Eyes. Allure, half the bloody deck. Obviously, you don't want to be alluring Blackstone or Keeper of the Shrine, or maybe even the Red Eyes Darkness Metal, but, you know, it's still pretty good. Yeah, the reason why I've made the deck this way is to abuse this fact that I can draw and like stack the grave, because I found in a few other builds I've tried that getting shit to the grave just doesn't work that well. So, and cards of Redstone doesn't work that well unless of course you have a heap of Red Eyes. And if you have a heap of Red Eyes and you don't have cards of Redstone, again that doesn't work well. So having them in here as well and having the more level 7s like Gores and that kind of just adds a consistency. Remember that if you have Dragon Shrine or Return of the Red Eyes out on the field, you can't Gores. But generally, because I've got 2 of each, that's probably not a problem half the time. So yeah. I mean, I could run Gores at 3, that's a potential, but... for summon cards, I have 1 Soul Charge, because in any slow deck like this, which doesn't combo very well, Soul Charge is really good. 2 Red Eyes Fusion, oh my god, that's going to be in my rant video as well. This card is great, and it's also shit. It's great because it gets you out Archfiends and dumps a couple of cards to the grave from your deck. Kind of like a Shaddoll Fusion, but your opponent doesn't need to have a monster. But it's shit because you can't summon a monster for the same turn you activate it. It's, oh my god. You will, its limiting effect is just so incredibly bad. I can't even fathom how someone would think of running this at 3. Oh my god, I tried it at 3 and I was like, no, this is a brick. Anyway, and for another proxy, Dragon's Mirror at 2. Considering putting it to 3, it's actually worked really nicely. Excellent card. The thing is, if I had to put it at 3, I would definitely need to be running this, and I wouldn't be able to take that out. Or, there is another card I could run, which is a quick play, Dimension Explosion, I think? Yeah, I'm going to get my hands on a couple of them. If I did run this at 3, I'd be running Dimension Explosion, which means I'd banish out 2, bring out Dragon's Mirror, attack, and play Dimension Explosion. That one goes back in the deck, and I bring out the two cards I banished, or what other ones are banished. Which should probably be better, especially with some of the extra deck I've got. Next up, 2 Silver's Cry, because you should be playing that if you're playing this deck. And 2 Return of the Red Eyes, because I don't like 3. great to have, not very great to have at 3. 3 is actually a brick for this. I have found, and last but not least, a dark hole and a Raigeki. Simple. Alright, extra deck. We have 2 azure-eyes Silver Dragon. Could run 3, don't want to run 3. 2 works alright. It's not that hard to get out, to be honest. A Trident Dragian and a Leo, and I'll probably run an Archfiend, Red Dragon Archfiend, and maybe another 8 or something. Yeah, I haven't finished off this extra deck, however. Next up is 2 Red-Eyes Splendor Dragon. Ignore the fact that's a Red-Eyes, Old Eyes of Rebellion. There'll be 2 Red-Eyes Flame Metal, but I haven't got 2 because I sold my secrets that I pulled for 50 each, and I got the Ghost for 20. So, yeah. And then fusions. 1 First of the Dragon. People are running 2. I think I would run 2 if I was running 3 Dragon's Mirror and a Dimension Explosion, but I'm not, so I'm running this. In fact, Dimension Explosion is really not a bad option either, except that it doesn't work with the Red Eyes fusion. 1 5-headed Dragon, because a 5k beat stick is not too bad. They can only be destroyed by light monsters, by battle. They can be destroyed by card effects, which is shit, but yeah. 3 Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword. This is funny because I won a game by bringing that out. I had no monsters, and then I chained Return of the Red Eyes to it and brought out a Black Flare Dragon. I equipped this to my opponent's monster, and I attacked his 101 after I normal summoned the Black Flare Dragon, and then I burned him for game. I wouldn't suggest that, but like, hey, if you can put that on an Archfiend Black Skull, like late game, of like a Dragon's Mirror, you've got a pretty beastly card. Like, unfortunately, there's not a lot of protection in this deck, but that's the idea of like a dragon deck. It's more of a beatdown than anything protection. And oh, the sex 3 ulti Archfiend Black Skull Dragon. I understand the idea of running a B Skull Dragon, but I don't like it. I find no use for it, other than maybe if you're worried about Fiendish Chain, I guess. Yeah, otherwise this thing is a hell of a lot better. Or like First of the Dragons that you want to destroy by battle. But yeah, nah, this is a lot better in most scenarios. I mean, you can run 1, but look how good this card looks in ulti. Just look at it. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, I think I had to explain another card briefly. So yeah, I'll briefly explain Redstone. Like I said a little before. Okay, so I don't have Claw or Hermos on me, so sorry about that. But Redstone's interesting because if you're going to use it like a normal summon tribute special summon from deck, personally I think you're playing it extremely wrong. The way I see this card being played properly, don't get fucking salty with me, or at least the most optimal or best way to play this card is more of a free discard than anything else. Honestly, I use Blackstone Legend as how to put it? Give me a sec. Because I was running just 1 Red Eyes B Dragon proxy in an old variant and running 2 fusions and shuffling the 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon back in the deck, which is actually something that's going to happen to you a lot, because if you Sacred Swords or Malefic Red Eyes one of your normal Red Eyes, you really want to be keeping 1 Red Eyes in the deck, just so 1 normal Red Eyes B Dragon in the deck, just so you can Red Eyes fusion sometime later in the game. And if it's not in your deck, well, if you actually let them draw it, it's one thing, but if it's not in your deck, you kind of can't Red Eyes Fusion if you top deck it, and Red Eyes Fusion as a top deck is not the worst card in the world, especially if you're down to nothing. So I would strongly suggest you kind of try to keep one in the deck at all times if you can, and Summon Skull as well. That is like the worst card to draw into or to top deck. You really want them in the grave or in your deck. But most of the time, what will happen is, it's a play using most of these cards. And I would have CloH here, but I don't at the moment. This deck, especially this variant, it's very good at stacking the grave up with cards. Especially using Dragon's Ravine and Dragon Shrine. It's very easy to Dragon Shrine, send this to the grave, send this to the grave, use this, bounce this back into your deck, and you've got the Blackstone Legend in hand, ready to use Dragon Shrine to send a different dragon to the grave. So potentially with these two in opening hand, you can send this to the grave, send this to the grave, add this back to hand, use Dragon's Ravine, discard this, then send like a Keeper to the grave, or a Galaxy Serpent, or something else that you want to stack in there or don't want to draw into. And maybe Summon Skull if you have a way to use it, like a Dragon's Mirror in turn 1. But yeah, like, honestly, I see this card as more of a grave manipulator, like for Dark Arm Dragon, because you need to have 3 darks in the grave for Dark Arm Dragon to work. If you happen to have, say, 2 darks in the grave, you can Dragon's Ravine, discard Blackstone Legend, send, and this is another reason why this is in here, send Galaxy Serpent to the grave, and I've done that before, so that you have 3. Or say you have 5 in the grave, you can Blackstone back to your hand, return this back in your deck, and then you've got 3 ready for Dark Arm Dragon. Or if you have 4 on the grave, again, you can send this back into your hand, this back into the deck, then you have 2 in the grave, and then discard this with Ravine, sending Galaxy Serpent, and you're back to 3. That's the best way I can explain it. It's a grave manipulator. It likes to keep your level, keep your deck stacked, keep your level, keep it at an appropriate level for like Dark Arm Dragon, and yeah, it restacks your deck, especially with a normal black, Red Eyes Black Dragon. Again, for the Red Eyes Fusion. That's honestly the best way I see it. I mean, as well with CloH, it's when you do that and you abuse this card here, kind of a free discard. And that's what I see Blackstone Legend as opposed to Tribute Normal Summon. It's more of a, hey look, I get a free discard every turn, I get a free Dragon's Ravine, as long as I put one of these back into my deck, which is fine because I don't have any in deck and I've got this sitting in hand and waiting to be used. So, that'll happen a lot. And I guess it's about time I do a rant video. I don't know what else to explain to you guys, but I see this as a one-card wonder. And from all the games I've played so far, and there's been quite a few with this deck, both in person and online, even though it's poorly proxied, this has been like a one-card wonder, which has just been a free discard or, you know, deck stack. Again, you can't add this to hand and tribute the same turn. So you can't use both effects the same turn, so I don't really know why people run it at 3 just to try to get a black Red Eyes out from the deck. You notice I don't run Wyvern. Wyvern is a potential to run. It's not bad in any circumstance. However, special summoning at the end of your turn, the Wyvern, without this to abuse off that, kind of doesn't get you anywhere. So I found it was really slow. And there's also no Black Metal Dragons. Again, Black Metal Dragon's actually the best card in the deck, but it doesn't add to your consistency of actually playing the deck. So you kind of play off top decks or hope that actually gets you a good Red Eyes card. But anyway, this has been Dragoneither. I hope you somewhat more or less liked the deck profile. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe. And I'm going to get a rant video out after this. So yeah, Dragoneither.